Hey everyone, and hello James. Thanks for joining us today. So we've got James from what3words on the call with us today to kind of run us through a little bit about the platform and what it can do to help navigate event site plans and things like that. So some of you may have already seen the what3words integration with the OnePlan Studio. For those that haven't, we've included the what3words locations in any infrastructure or workforce placed in the OnePlan map. Generally, the question I get asked is, what's the best way to use this on site? So that's why we've got James in today joining us to tell us more about it. So yeah, thanks for joining us today, James, and taking time out of your day to tell us a bit more about it.
That's great. Thanks, Nathan. Should I share my screen?
Yeah, I'll stop sharing, let you take over. If anyone's got any questions as well along the way, just put it in the chat. We can get to questions at the end. We'll have some time. So yeah, over to you, James.
Perfect. Can you see everything okay on your side?
Yeah, I can see it.
Great. So firstly, thanks, Nathan, for having me on. As Nathan mentioned, so my name's James. I look after business development at what3words across APAC in a few of our different key sectors. So not sure what the level of understanding is of what3words already on the call, but thought I'd start at the beginning and give a bit of an introduction to what3words and then go into a bit more detail on how this is being used, different use cases for events and some of our case studies globally, as well as specifically for safety purposes, how what3words can be used. And as Nathan says, happy to take any questions at the end. So to start from the beginning, really, I think the problem that what3words really helps to solve and why the company was created in the first place is that there are lots of challenges with how we can communicate locations today. This feels like a fairly obvious point to make, but an important one, that there are many places around the world that don't have an address. And in these situations, whether you're talking about a long stretch of highway, beautiful part of the beach, the countryside, out for a walk, somewhere like this, it can be very difficult to communicate a location. And obviously in the context of events, this becomes quite clear as well. When you think about festivals, for example, where you have thousands of people camping in tents and maybe a postcode or a nearest place name, but no address that's usable and easy to use on site for both for organizers and also for attendees. And this is not just true in rural areas, but also when you think about any kind of large site or venue, if you're hosting an event, trying to communicate precise locations around a large venue, stadium, for example, often you will have one street address, and that will, if you type that into a map, it will drop a pin in the middle of that large site. So if you're trying to communicate a specific access point, gate, merchandise stand, delivery point, emergency point, that is very difficult to do using a street address. So really that's the problem that we're trying to solve with what3words. And for anyone not familiar with the concept already, I'll give a short explainer on how what3words works. So very simply, to solve this problem, what3words has given every single 3 meters square in the world a unique combination of 3 everyday dictionary words. So we've divided the world into a grid of 3 meter squares and given every single one a combination of 3 words. So the example on the screen you can see, in comes bride runner, is the what3words address for this exact square in New South Wales in Australia. So what this means is that you can now refer to any precise location very easily using just 3 words. So coming back to the examples I mentioned, large sites like stadiums, rather than having one street address which will drop a pin in the middle of the pitch, you can now use 3 words to communicate the precise bridge that you want people to come via, or the exact gate that you want them to come with their ticket. In the context of festivals, when you do have thousands of people camping in a field and one postcode, that means that people can now share very easily the exact 3 metre square for their tent. They can remember it, they can communicate it when they get lost at the festival. And for temporary sites, when you want to direct traffic or attendees or suppliers and partners to the correct location on site, it means that you can give them an accurate location very easily. So the what3words address in Vermont, in this case, is Bottle Rocker Hustle, and that will take you to that exact 3 metre square in the field here. And again, I think in the context of events, this means that you can direct traffic, people and vehicles to the correct location. So official merchandise stands, ticket booths, bars, bathrooms, whatever it may be, can now easily be found and shared as a location using a what3words address. Now, just to dive in a little bit more deeply, so to explain how the technology works, fundamentally, it's very simple. We take a system which works incredibly well, which is GPS coordinates. GPS is brilliant because it works everywhere in the world, no matter if you're in the middle of a city or in the middle of nowhere, and it's universal. The problem with GPS is it's very difficult to communicate. So we take the precision of the numbers of GPS and we convert it to a format which people can use and they can remember and share on a daily basis using 3 words. Now, I wanted to highlight as well, we've done this in English. So we are a UK-based company. We operate very globally. And the ambition is that everyone should be able to communicate any location using their own language. So we started with English and we're now available in 61 languages for the whole world. So I'm dialed in from Hanoi in Vietnam at the moment. I'm not a fluent Vietnamese speaker, but it means that I can navigate my way around Vietnam using 3 English words and vice versa for any other language in any part of the world. So how do you use what3words? I think important, as Nathan mentioned, we have our integration within OnePlan, which is super easy to use and allows you to find the 3-word address for any location on the map for your event planning. Wanted to also highlight that we have a what3words app. This is free. We have millions of consumers using this every day around the world. So you can download the what3words app. You can also use our online map, what3words.com. This allows you to find, share, navigate, save what3words addresses. And I'll explain a little bit more about how that can be applied in the context of events in a minute. More broadly, we do work across lots of different sectors. So not just events, but also what3words is now integrated into the navigation systems of 20 OEMs globally, so Mercedes being the first. Logistics companies use us for streamlining their delivery process, so we work with the likes of DHL, and DPD and Aramex to improve the last mile efficiencies and the customer experience for online orders with e-commerce brands. And also relevant for today, we do work with emergency services. So across Australia, the UK, the US, Germany, and a number of other markets, emergency services will use what3words to help them find you more easily, because in an emergency, very often the first question is what is the location? And that can be a real challenge if someone is worried and they don't know exactly where they are. They can't give a usable location in that situation. So lots of different sectors, as I mentioned, emergency services, logistics and automotive are some, but any industry that deals with addresses and locations, what3words is applied to. So globally, we work across quite a number of different areas as well. Now, to dive in a little bit more deeply for the use case for events and for venues and how this can be useful for organizers, but also for attendees. To start with, wanted to talk a little bit about logistics. So I think obviously, when you're able to share precise locations more easily, that makes it much simpler to coordinate logistics. So when you're thinking about pre-event logistics, this means that you can direct deliveries to precise loading areas. You can let suppliers and partners know exactly where to position their stand and set up. You can communicate key locations to stewards and volunteers. and you can locate risks and incidents and share these with emergency teams. During the event, this is also super useful because it can really help with accessibility. So accessibility is a big area for us. We work with many venues around the world because being able to clearly define exact accessible entrances to sites or buildings is a pain point which cannot easily be solved using a street address. So directing people to accessible entrances, ramps, and assistance services by giving them the 3 words for that location so that they can navigate directly there. Another use case is allowing people in general to find entrances to help people find their way and ultimately feel safer because they know exactly where they're going on site. And if there's ever an issue, they can get assistance easily by giving their location to security or medical teams if they need to. And in terms of post-event logistics, this can also be applied in a really similar way. You can help direct de-rig teams to precise locations, communicate to stewards and volunteers after an event, and again, locate any risks and health and safety incidents, and share those locations more easily. So just to talk through a couple of ways this can be implemented, and then I'll show you some examples of our partners and case studies from different markets around the world. I think this is fairly self-explanatory, but I think just to lay it out in terms of how this can be applied. The first stage is finding what3words addresses for those key locations. So as Nathan mentioned, this can easily be done in OnePlan by clicking any point and finding the 3 words for that location. In terms of follow-up from that initial planning process, for anyone without access to OnePlan as well, you can create lists of key what3words locations in the what3words app, and you can also share these between teams on the ground so that they can easily navigate to any key location on site. The example you can see on the screen there is Alexandra Palace, the Ali Pali in London, who have been using what3words for a number of years. You can see how they've listed the 3-word addresses for key locations around the site. Now, the second stage is how we share that information. So this can be woven into any of your existing communications materials to provide more precise information when it comes to any addresses or locations that you're sharing. So that can include anything from booking confirmation emails to pre-event comms around being prepared while attending, how to get here pages, or any banners on tickets and click-through information that you're sharing on social media. So just wanted to wrap up by showing a little bit on the marketing and communications ideas around what3words, and then keen to hear any questions. So again, from an announcement point of view, this can be included on landing pages, social media, newsletters. The example you can see on the right-hand side is from the O2 in London, who again have been using what3words for quite a long time, specifically for accessibility reasons as well, by listing what3words addresses for specific locations on their websites. And there are many examples of this. I can share some information as a follow-up to the webinar today with these examples for you to have a look through, to maybe spark a few ideas. But as I say, many stadiums around the world, including the Emirates, the Arsenal Stadium in London, LAFC in the US are also now doing this to direct traffic to the correct locations on site for attendees. The LA Coliseum as well in California. In terms of running events and road events in general, the Big Half in London and many running events around different countries are using this to direct people to start points, finish areas, emergency areas, so that people can find their way more easily. South by Southwest in the States also using what3words to direct people as well as New Year's celebrations. So in Edinburgh, the Hogmanay celebrations also including what3words addresses in their comms materials. And as well as those sorts of assets, I think PR has always been a very effective channel. So Glastonbury is a very good example of this. Glastonbury have been using what3words on site for the on-site police and organisers to coordinate, 200,000 people in the field. So the PR ahead of the event over the recent years has been aimed around being prepared and how every Glastonbury goer needs to have what3words downloaded so that they can share locations easily on site. In terms of engagement, I touched on some of these ideas, but wanted to show a few more examples in terms of how you can include what3words in tickets, in physical signage, and in pre-event comms. So one example here is Winter Wonderland in Hyde Park in London, who have been adding what3words addresses on their site map for a number of years, which you can see here, as well as nice pop-up locations to keep people engaged, photo content around the site as well. As I mentioned, running events and road events, again, what3words addresses can be added to any of these assets to help people navigate around the site more easily. Wembley is another great example of this, who have added 3-word addresses for many of their sites for a number of the world tours. In this case, this is BTS during their world tour in London. The Gov Ball with the Governor's Ball in the US also using what3words for physical signage around the site to engage people while they walk around. And even Burning Man have been using what3words for directing people in the middle of the desert to know exactly where to go. So creating maps which people can use and feed into as well with the what3words locations. Now, in terms of engagement, there's a couple of nice examples I wanted to show as well. LAFC have done scavenger hunts around the site to get people engaged on social media, sharing the 3-word address for a location. The first person that gets there can win a shirt or a ticket of some kind. So a good way to keep people engaged on socials as well. And London Stadium, West Ham Stadium in London, also just making what3words nice and visible for people to remind them to use it to find their way more easily. And just to wrap up, to touch on safety, because I think for the purposes of the audience today, in Australia, as I mentioned, what3words, we have been working with the emergency services across the country for a number of years now. So what3words is integrated into the National Emergency Plus app, so that if you are in an emergency and trying to give a location, you can use the Emergency Plus app as well as the what3words app to find your 3 words and give those over the phone to police, fire, or ambulance when you call 000. So this has been in place for a number of years now. You can see some of the communications that have been done by emergency services across the states and different ways that this has been used. So even adding 3-word addresses to physical signs around Sydney on the beaches to help people give a location more easily if there's an emergency on the beach. And there have been many cases of people being found and rescued more easily because they have used what3words in these scenarios. So I wanted to finish just by highlighting the safety benefits, because I think that is relevant for a lot of the audience today, but appreciate that was a very whistle-stop tour of what3words. Happy to pause there and take any questions if there are any.
Yeah, thanks for that, James. That's like James said, it's a very useful tool, and it's completely free. So which is, it's good to have that integrated in the OnePlan map as well, so you can kind of use it in OnePlan and outside of OnePlan as well. So just if I was to ask the question and say, if I was an event planner mapping out an event in the OnePlan app, and I've just got security or volunteers placed in the map with the what3words location, I'll pass that what3words location onto the staff member or the volunteer. does the what3words app or automatically integrate with Google Maps on your phone? Are there other mapping things on your phone that you could use to get you to that point?
Yes, exactly. Actually, I can show you just how that works in practice if that's helpful. So from the what3words app and from the online map, you can click navigate and navigate through using any navigation that you've got on your device. So if I quickly switch screen here, I can show you what that looks like in practice.
If anyone's got any questions while he's doing that as well, just put it in the chat and we'll be able to enter that as well.
Can you see my screen okay?
Yep.
Great. So this is the what3words online map. As I mentioned, I'm in Vietnam at the moment, so looking currently at Ho Chi Minh City here. If I was to, let's say, you were to give me the 3-word address for our office in District 1 in Ho Chi Minh City, which I know is become at Looks Rising, I can then enter that into the what3words app or map. It will recommend the correct result based on what I've typed in my location. You'll also notice that we have built logic, so we have put similar sounding words and addresses very far away from each other, so it's very easy to spot a mistake. So one of these is in Ho Chi Minh, another is, I'm not even sure where these locations are, but very far away. So Utah and Canada and Newfoundland. So if I select that location, it will drop a pin at the exact entrance to our office in Ho Chi Minh. And then if I was to click navigate, I can then select from any navigation that I've got. It will link directly through, in this case, to Google Maps, convert the words into the coordinate and the nearest street name you will see appear. And in this case, I'm in Hanoi, so it's telling me to drive 27 hours to Ho Chi Minh. So in this case, you can see any 3-word address that's given to you, you can then navigate using Google Maps in exactly the way that you normally would.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and you've got a couple of maps to choose from there as well, because Wangs is fairly popular over here too. So that's good. You've got a couple of options to choose from there as well. That's great. Anyone have any questions? We'll leave it open for another minute or so if anyone's got a question to type in. Yeah, we've got one here. So it's a good question. Is there any black spot areas that you know of?
Yes, so very good question. I think the point here is, so for what3words, we have mapped every 3 meters in the world. So because our technology is fundamentally based on a lat long, anywhere that GPS exists, what3words also exists. So I can click anywhere in the world, including in the middle of the ocean, and every single square has been given 3 words already. You'll notice that we've built some logic to make it as intuitive as possible. So the longer words like these posted inefficiently redoubtable are in the middle of the ocean where they're less likely to be used. If I was to go to Sydney, for example, you'll see the words are much shorter, more commonly used English words. So we optimize for every language for the countries that language is spoken in the most.
Awesome. Any other questions? Might wrap it up there. But if there's any other questions after this, I'll send out an email with some contact details, and we can answer any questions that may arise, because this will be recording we sent out as well. So there might be a few questions that come through. So yeah, thanks heaps for your time, James. It's been really nice to see a bit more about the what3words integration and see how it all works in the real world. So yeah, thanks again. Appreciate it.
Pleasure. And yeah, if anyone has follow-up questions, very happy to jump on a call and explore ideas in a bit more detail. So thanks for having me on, Nathan.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone.